15,000 experience points. That's how many you need to earn to max out just one of your skills. That's the equivalent of chopping down over 900 trees, harvesting nearly 2,000 parsnips, or mining 1250 iron nodes in the mines. Maxing out all of your skills in less than 1 year isn't easy. But how fast can I do it? It's already been done in a shockingly quick 28 days by GamerGar, but I think I can crush that record. And I'll do it by playing fair, with all the same rules and restrictions. No glitches or exploits like animation cancelling, no RNG manipulation like clay farming, and I'll use a completely random game seed so I can't rely on predictable rain to water my crops or let me catch valuable fish. Let's get started. There's not much I can accomplish on day 1. I can't really train fishing, mining, or combat until the game lets me, and I don't have any infrastructure for farming, so today is spent foraging. Foraging is a brutal skill to level up on a short timeline, and is easily the main bottleneck for this challenge. Felling a tree only grants 14 experience, and clearing away the stump is only 2 more. Even with an upgraded axe to knock down trees and fewer swings, there just aren't enough trees to cut down to get to level 10. Chopping the entire forest south of the farm is only worth about 1,000 experience, and I don't have much time for trees to naturally grow back. I can go out and grab forageables around the world for 70 XP a pop, but they're few and far between, and the common varieties like spring onions and berries give way less experience. It takes an exhausting 10 swings to down a tree, and 5 more to clear the stump, so I keep up my energy by snacking on spring onions and dandelions until I manage to gather around 400 wood, which is enough to craft myself a couple chests for storage and, critically, repair the bridge down by the beach. Despite spending the entire day efficiently training the foraging skill, I only earned around 550 experience, which puts me at level 2. That's not even 4% of the experience I need for one skill. Day 2. Willy gives us our first fishing rod so we can start fishing, which is easy to train and a great source of money. Fishing is going to be the launch pad to get everything else rolling, so it'll be the first skill to max. I scout the beach for bubbles in the water. They're temporary, but fishing there means fish will bite 4 times faster, which means more money and more experience. Landing a sardine will only net me 13 experience, but there's a lot of ways to juice up your fishing EXP. Higher quality and higher difficulty fish are worth more experience. Plus, landing a perfect catch in the fishing minigame, in which the fish never escapes the fishing bar, will multiply your experience by 2.4. Nabbing a random treasure chest when fishing is worth 2.2 times the experience, and a perfect catch that also lucks into treasure will apply both bonuses. I need to get as many perfect catches as possible, and that starts by buying the training rod from Willy the moment he opens up shop. The training rod puts a harsh limit on the value of fish it can hook, but it makes the fishing minigame way easier at low levels by increasing the size of your fishing bar as if you were level 5. I was blessed with plenty of bubbles to fish at, which quickly raised both the experience and money needed to buy the fiberglass rod from Willy, which he stocks in his shop at level 2 fishing. Now I can use bait, which halves the time it takes for fish to bite. After exhausting the bubbles down by the beach, it's time to shuffle off to the lake, the real fishing destination during springtime, now that I don't need to haunt Willy's shop to stock up on fishing gear. I think the fastest way to gain fishing experience early on are bullheads. Their base difficulty is high enough to be worth 24 experience for a high quality bullhead, but they're surprisingly easy to perfect catch because their movement pattern is set to smooth, which prevents them from making those unexpected jerky motions that are more likely to slip out of your fishing bar and ruin your perfect. You can expect to gain 57 experience from a perfect bullhead, and you're guaranteed to catch high quality fish once your fishing level is high enough to cast out your rod further into deep waters. Plus, they're worth reasonably good money. An Iridium quality bullhead cashes in for a cool 150 gold. Day 3. More fishing at the lake. I earned just under 2,000 fishing experience yesterday, putting me at level 4, and my ability to gain money and experience only gets better as my fishing level goes up. While I can't really choose which fish I catch until I can get my hands on a precious bait maker, the varied fish down at the lake are a pretty good mix of ease of catch and value, whether that's selling them for gold or eating them to keep up my energy. You can make far more money on a rainy day by gunning for catfish down by the river, but it's terrible experience since they're so difficult to catch, so we'll wait until we're at a higher level. By the end of day 3, I've fished up an incredible amount of fish and random treasure over the last day and a half, plus I earned around 2,800 fishing EXP, propelling me to level 6 fishing. Less than 1/3 of the way there, but it's a good start and I can make a lot of money selling these fish. Day 4. Let's bring our catch down to Willy's shop and make some money. I needed to come down here regardless to stock up on bait, but far more importantly, remember that bridge I fixed up on day 1? The tide pools have blessed me with coral and a sea urchin, ingredients used to craft the bait maker, which lets me target which fish I want to hook. Thing is, I need iron bars to make one, and I can't go mining until day 5 at the earliest, so let's get a head start on making metal. I swing down to Clint's shop to pick up enough copper ore to craft a furnace and some iron to make bars. I'll have to wait until tomorrow to get started since Clint doesn't teach you how to craft a furnace until you have obtained copper, and it wasn't worth the time making a trip to his shop earlier than today when I finally had money to spend. I only earned around 2,000 fishing experience today since I had errands to run, but it puts me at level 7 fishing, just shy of level 8. Still less than halfway there, since the experience requirements for the last couple of levels are super backloaded. Day 5. I need metal. I finally have access to the mines, but it's a crappy day for mining, since your chance to reveal a staircase to descend further is influenced by randomized daily luck, and today's luck kinda sucks. I dip my toe into the mines, just far enough to unlock floor 10 and net me enough copper to upgrade one of my tools tomorrow. I need a better pickaxe to progress through the mines more efficiently, and it's also extremely important to upgrade my axe as much as possible to help me chop down trees for foraging experience. After that, it's a simple matter of going back to fishing, which is a great activity for babysitting a furnace while waiting for it to spit out metal bars one at a time, and I need 5 copper bars and 3 iron bars as soon as possible. Not a big day for experience since low-level mining gives almost nothing, but making progress in the mines is absolutely critical, and I'm now sitting comfortably past the halfway point for fishing. Day 6. Mining is rough without access to a good weapon. It's just not worth slowing down the fight. As much as I need combat experience, it's too inefficient right now. After a bit more progress in the mines, I'm off to Clint's to put in for a tool upgrade. You have to start on these early since I plan to do about 4 of them, and he needs 2 days to work on your tool, during which you can't use it. I can't do more mining while my pickaxe is at the shop, but now that I have iron, it's time to show off the power of the bait maker. By feeding in bullheads, I can turn them into bullhead bait that almost exclusively hooks more bullheads, which is pretty much the fastest way I can reliably gain fishing experience since they're so easy to perfect while still having a good base EXP value. You can make more money by targeting largemouth bass, but I'm holding back on that until higher fishing levels since if I whiff my perfect catch, they're no more valuable than an Iridium quality bullhead, and the EXP is going to be greatly reduced. Plus, largemouth bass clock out of work at 7 PM and just stop showing up for the rest of the day. I end the day at exactly 9,999 fishing experience. 1 experience point short of level 9, which is super annoying since you only regain your full bar of stamina for free after passing out on the ground if you actually gained a level that day. Day 7. Trust me, if you're bored of fishing by now, I can guarantee that I sure am bored of fishing by now. But I don't have much choice since I can't go mining without my pickaxe, and it's not worth foraging without a better axe. Plus, I really need the money. With the power of the bait maker, I easily clear over 4,000 fishing experience today, which is incredible. I'm actually overshooting fishing, since I still need the fish for money, but the random seed I got stuck with for this run is difficult and has almost no rain when I want it. And no rain means no money days fishing catfish. Day 8. Let's finally do something different. All that fishing money means I can stock up on the expensive fishing gear, the Iridium rod and the accompanying tackle, which I have a special use for coming up on day 11. For now, it's off to Clint to retrieve my pickaxe, upgrade my axe, and the rest of my money goes towards purchasing a JoJo membership, which will enable me to shell out a further 40,000 gold to repair the bus in town. That's a lot of money I don't have, and I've already done a lot of fishing. But it's not optional. I need that bus in service to take me to the desert in time for the Springtime Desert Festival, the key to making this run possible. The rest of the day was spent mining, which I've barely tackled up to this point. Day 9. I am a third of the way for my run and I've only meaningfully gained experience in fishing and basically nothing else because everything else is far more difficult to train right now. How the heck am I going to finish everything at this pace? Mining has a slow start, but it's actually crazy fast once you get access to the skull caverns and switch to mining dozens of rocks at a time with bombs, instead of tapping rocks individually with a pickaxe. My checklist for skull cavern preparation involves reaching a high enough mining level and getting enough ore to craft a huge pile of bombs, as well as going deep enough in the mines to retrieve a usable weapon. I'm also going to need enough money to repair the town bus and some extra cash to purchase plenty of food for healing in the caverns. Day 10. Not much progress on the experience front, but I made 5 iron bars while mining, and I'm staying on top of tool upgrades since I'm completely screwed if I don't get this axe upgraded. Today's another day spent mining, split between making progress to the lower floors and also focusing on target farming iron for resources and experience. Day 11 is finally the first day of rain I can actually take advantage of. First order of business, catching the legend, a slippery, super difficult one-time fish that I can sell for a sweet 11k gold. It took a few tries to hook it early in the day without the fish escaping or just not showing up, but this is why I purchased the Iridium rod and a trap bobber. Next, it's time to take my bait maker to the river to catch super valuable catfish for the rest of the day, using dress spinners to make fish bite even faster than usual. Ideally, you really want to have fish smokers to juice up the sale value, but the fish smoker recipe costs 10,000 gold, and I just don't have the money right now, nor the resources to make them, and as much as smokers pay for themselves and then some, this run isn't focused on money at all, beyond what I need to prep for the school caverns, and without reliable rain to give me steady access to catfish, it's barely worth smoking anything else, since smoking fish consumes expensive coal I need to craft bombs with. This is a big difference from my previous challenge run, which used a preset seed to guarantee tons of rain, which put me way ahead on money, even if I played less efficiently. But I'm determined to crush the max skills record on a random seed, even if the rain situation completely sucks, and I know I can still do it. By the end of the day, I've pulled in a staggering 50 catfish, catapulting me well past level 10 fishing, finally maxing out the first of 5 skills. I've got a long road ahead of me. Day 12. Let's get rich. I've switched to targeting largemouth bass since I'm done training fishing and they're not too hard to perfect now. Taking my wealth of fish down the willy, I've put together a sweet 50k gold, which I need for Skull Cavern prep, spending 40k on the bus repair and 10k more to upgrade my backpack since inventory space is a nightmare to manage in the caverns. Once largemouth bass go home at 7 PM, I take the evening to dip down into the mines, reaching floor 90, which grants me the weapon I'll be bringing to the Skull Caverns. Day 13. I'm nearly halfway through the run and I'm still missing most of the experience I need to finish this. I'm even behind on money, which kinda sucks because I'm still fishing well past fishing level 10. One extra day of rain really would have saved me time, but I'm making the best of a bad situation, finding a way to climb out of this. I need 10k gold to slam in one more expensive upgrade for my axe if I want to hope in hell at getting foraging done, and I really need extra cash to stock up on food for the caverns. Critically, I am able to sneak in level 5 mining today, which is huge, because I can now get more ore from each mining node. I can spend my last preparation day before the Desert Festival getting iron ore and crafting as many bombs as I can get my little hands on. The entirety of day 14 is dedicated to last minute shopping and iron ore. Bombs take 4 iron ore plus a coal to craft, and I need level 6 mining to be able to make them in the first place, so I farm out tons of ore by repeatedly reloading the same floor in the mines over and over, scouting for iron. I also put in 10k for my final axe upgrade, and the rest of my money was used to purchase food. Day 15. Let's make bombs for the Skull Caverns. I've also secured some good items by trading gemstones to the Desert Merchant. Spicy Eel grants buffs to speed and luck, which means I can run faster and reveal more staircases while mining. Triple Shot Espresso also buffs speed. Food and drink buffs don't override each other and can coexist. I've also got a few staircases to skip past floors of terrible layouts, a few to no rocks to break. Unfortunately, I don't have any desert totems to directly teleport to the festival, but I can make the bus run ahead of schedule with a tactic called Bothering Pam. By standing in the way of an NPC, they'll get angry and push past you, walking faster to catch up to their expected schedule. Cutting them off the moment they begin walking will result in them arriving sooner than normal. I get a meal from the Desert Chef, granting a massive bonus to speed and luck that stacks alongside my existing food and drink buffs, totaling up to +4 luck and +3 speed. The Desert Festival runs for 3 days and bypasses the need for the Skull Key to enter the Skull Caverns. These 3 days are the most important days in the run, and I am willing to retry dozens of times for a good result. So what's the big deal with the festival? First, mining EXP. Iridium nodes and egg nodes grant 50 mining experience each, and you can break several at once by using bombs to rack up EXP at abusive rates. A good day in the Skull Caverns can net 10k mining EXP, making it the fastest skill by far, but we're after much more than just maxing out mining. Because you can mine for foraging experience. Remember when I said at the start of the run that there simply weren't nearly enough trees to chop down to max out foraging on a tight timeline? That's still true, and you're not going to fix the problem even if you have the time and resources for a substantial tree farm. Growing a couple hundred more trees just isn't enough. It's not even close. The only thing making this possible are foraging EXP books. Participating in the Desert Festival earns you festival tokens called Calico Eggs, which can be redeemed for goodies, and every 100 Calico Eggs you earn can be traded in for a book that grants 250 foraging experience when read. The main way to get Calico Eggs is by mining, but not just regular mining. You need exceptional Skull Cavern runs to impress the NPCs into piling eggs into your inventory. Your Skull Cavern run is given an egg rating. 1 point for each 5 floors descended and 1 point for each calico statue you locate and interact with, which has a chance to make the run more dangerous. Most egg ratings result in a humble quantity of eggs, but landing an egg rating of 55 or higher will give you a mountain of eggs, as well as the best food in the game by far, which lets you carry momentum into your next Skull Cavern run. This is when I knew I couldn't settle for good. I couldn't even settle for great. I needed to get incredible Skull Cavern runs and get that 55 egg rating every single day, even on the first day, without a desert totem or a magic rock candy to make things easier. There's more to this than just earning the egg rating. I need to get deep into the caverns where eggs and Iridium become commonplace because half my eggs will come directly from the caverns, and without the usual ability to trade in eggs for bombs to sustain my greedy need for explosives, I'm going to have to trade in all of my valuable Iridium ore to the Desert Merchant to maintain a stock of bombs. Day 15 went remarkably well, but also cost me most of my healing food and most of my bombs, but I scraped by with an egg rating of exactly 55 by the skin of my teeth, letting me purchase 2500 foraging experience on my first day. Day 16. Today is easier because I can teleport directly to the festival and pop a magic rock candy for the first half of my run, but I need to carefully manage my now limited supplies. I'm quite low on food and my stack of bombs is looking much thinner than the day before, so I'll need to scrounge up the materials to craft more as I go while still getting an incredible run. On my 8th attempt, everything came together like magic. With my +8 luck bust and a healthy dose of RNG, I found so many shafts I dropped down to floor 100 before the clock even hit noon. I can't slow down. I need eggs for foraging EXP and a huge pile of Iridium to keep my stock of bombs up. These free days of the Skull Caverns are also by far the best way to train combat since the calico statues can greatly increase the amount of monsters lurking around, but I can't afford to slow down the fight. Foraging is too important. It's a way larger bottleneck than combat will be. By the end of the day I was almost out of food and almost out of bombs, yet I net myself over 250 Iridium to cash in for 50 mega bombs, and enough eggs to buy 11 more foraging books, putting me at 5,250 foraging experience in 2 days. I also earned level 10 mining today, so that's 2 out of 5 skills finished. The thing is, these runs still aren't good enough. I'll pick up enough books for over half the foraging EXP I need, but it's finally time to address the elephant in the room. I have level 0 farming, and I only have about a week to change that once the festival ends. There is exactly 1 out for this dire situation. How could I possibly go from 0 to 15,000 farming experience in a week when I also have to finish up thousands and thousands of foraging and combat EXP that I won't get during the festival? The answer? Rain totems. Rain totems can be consumed to force rain tomorrow, as long as it's not a town festival day. This takes a huge amount of labor out of farming. I don't need an army's worth of sprinklers to irrigate my entire farm, nor will I need to plant in neat organized rows for watering. I just need to put seeds in the ground by any means necessary and let the rain take care of it. Problem is, rain totems are really rare. When you do find a lucky chest in the caverns, it's around a 3.6% chance to get 1 to 3 rain totems instead of the dozens of other available loot drops. Plus, even with the fastest growing crops I can plant in bulk, I'll need 3 totems to get the job done, because by the time I can get my farm cleared out and planted, I'll only get 1 day of natural rain to take advantage of. It's hard enough to get an amazing Skull Cavern run at this point, particularly since I've basically run out of food, and it's still not okay for me to chew through all of my bombs because I still need tons of bombs for the rest of the run. I need to find at least 1 rain totem while also getting a ton of eggs at the same time. I had to abandon multiple runs that found rain totems because I just didn't get very many eggs or much Iridium ore, but finally on attempt number 13, a miracle happened. Having reached floor 100 at a great pace, I got a lucky string of treasure rooms and found a singular rain totem. If I finished strong, it would be enough, and I could take the final magic rock candy into a post-festival Skull Cavern run for the other rain totems. I made great progress but found nightmares awaiting me on the lower floors. I got bad luck on the calico statues and every floor was crawling with a dozen or 2 monsters and I was running completely dry on healing food, desperately eating whatever I found in treasure chests and on the floor. Unable to restore my HP and continue further, I had to leave early, but I had an egg rating of exactly 55. In the end, I was able to purchase 12 more foraging books, putting me at a total of 30 free books over 3 days. That's 8,250 foraging experience, well over half the required 15,000. It may have taken a few dozen tries at Skull Cavern runs, but I finally pushed through the Desert Festival with level 8 foraging, with not much left to reach level 9. Day 18, about 1 week left. Every day needs to be incredibly optimized to bring this run home. The first order of business is getting the Galaxy Sword. I've had prismatic shards on hand for days, but you're not able to cash them in during the Desert Festival. Next goal is getting the Skull Key from the bottom of the mine, since I'll need to return to the Skull Cavern. I need to speedrun 25 floors without wasting any of my good bombs and time to get the Clint shot before closing at 4 PM. And there aren't any shafts in the regular mines like you get in the caverns to skip floors in bulk. After claiming my gold axe from Clint, I have shopping to do. Salad from Gus for healing, coffee to boost my speed everywhere I'm running for the rest of the run, and a couple stacks of parsnip seeds from Pierre. Where did all this money come from? Selling crap from the Skull Caverns. I had to trade almost all of my Iridium back into Mega Bombs, but that doesn't mean I traded all of it in. Plus, prismatic shards and other loot sells for piles of cash. It's finally time to clear out the farm. All the trees, logs, and stumps on the farm are worth well over 2,000 foraging EXP. I don't even have a slim hope of getting seeds planted today, which is a huge waste of this free rainy weather, but those parsnips are a silver bullet for farming experience. Each seed is incredibly cheap. It only costs 20 gold for a crop worth 8 farming experience, and the crops only need 4 days of rain to mature. Parsnips are genuinely terrible for making money, but I think it's clever game design that the explicit tutorial crop you're gifted at the start of the game is wonderful for training the skill. It's normally too labor intensive to plant and water such a wide field of crops to make it worth it, even for the cheap experience gains, but I've got ways around that. Day 19, the latest I can plant is the 20th, since day 24 can't have rain due to the town festival. Those missing rain totems are still calling my name, so it's time for another foray into the Skull Caverns. My primary objective is finding about 2 more rain totems, but I also really want combat EXP, and more Iridium never hurts. Now that I don't care about egg raiding, I'm not obligated to dive as deep and greedily as possible, and the runs are way easier now outside of the festival. My buffs are worse without the Desert Chef, but the monsters are so much nicer without Calico statues juicing them to the gills. It's a shame though that they appear way less frequently. I really made the purposeful decision to trade combat experience for foraging experience during the festival, and I'll have to spend a lot of time catching up on combat, which is deeply behind at this point. I still think it's worth it, by far. Foraging is a crazy bottleneck in this run, and I didn't really have time to start a tree farm of my own, even with tree fertilizer that cut the growth time down to like 5 days. By the time I've got my crops planted and tree seeds gathered, I won't have 5 days. I'm barely gonna make it in time to plant my crops as is. The farm isn't even fully cleared of trees and logs, much less tilled. But there's no point planting my seeds if I can't find rain totems. I found basically everything else before seeing a single rain totem. People go years without finding an auto petter, and I'm throwing them away because they aren't rain totems. I had to sit there opening dozens and dozens of chests with absolutely nothing to show for it, throwing away run after run like Sisyphus watching the boulder roll downhill before starting over from the beginning. I didn't find any rain totems until attempt number 18 at the Skull Cavern run. I had to throw away 17 perfectly good runs because the RNG thought it would be funny to yank my chain for 3 real-life days. The rest of the run went quite well. Without needing to worry about egg raiding or getting hounded by super powerful monsters, I got to focus on gathering ore to sustain my bombs, ending in a ridiculous pile of 330 Iridium ore. And if you have a burning question in the back of your mind like, why do I still need so many bombs? You're about to find out. Day 20. First day of Rain Totem. Let's finish clearing the farm and get planting. 2,000 crops is a ridiculous number to plant, my farm is still a mess and the soil isn't even tilled. The solution is bomb tilling. By spacing out mega bombs, I can clear out all the excess weeds, rocks, and twigs while simultaneously tilling the soil by turning my farm into a World War I battlefield and scaring the hell out of the neighbors. I still have a ton of trees and logs to break down for foraging experience, so I have a lot of chores to cram in one day. By using speed boosting food and my wealth of bombs, I managed to till the entire farm, since I had no idea how to eyeball estimate 2,000 squares of tilled farmland, and I can't bomb after I start planting lest I accidentally explode adjacent crops. Starting past 4 PM, I had around 10 hours to get this planted, and it took all of that time to get it done, with the last seed going into the ground at 1:50 AM. 2,000 seeds is overkill, but I don't have scarecrows, nor will I make them, so this provides a generous buffer of extra crops that could be lost to vermin. Day 21, second day of Rain Totem. We're in the home stretch at this point. Farming will take care of itself, so I need to clean up foraging and combat. Thankfully, I've done so little actual foraging, I still have the entire map outside the farm to chop down. It's not enough by itself since I'll still need about 1400 foraging experience after today, but there are a few renewable sources of foraging experience, like the respawning stumps in the secret woods. Plus, I can dump tree fertilizer on any stray, partially grown trees, a few of which actually survived my heavy bombardment back on the farm, and a few more I'll be able to get my hands on if I repair the bridge to the quarry. I don't really have other uses for money at this point besides stocking up on coffees to make sure I'm running around at full speed at all times. It doesn't take me the full day to clear cut every tree I have access to, so I'm able to optimize a bit and spend the evening getting a little extra combat EXP. Day 22, third and final rain totem. It's time to address the fact that I'm deeply behind on combat experience. I'm still obligated to grind daily foraging EXP, but I'm basically out of trees to chop down, and I need to rely on slow methods to finish, so I can't put 100% focus into combat. I make a run to the secret woods, fertilize the trees growing in the quarry, and hit up the mushroom floors in the mines for a little extra kick of foraging. As soon as foraging chores are done, it's right back to my friend and enemy, the Skull Caverns. The run's success doesn't really matter anymore, I just need to find enemies to kill. I managed to net myself 2000 combat EXP, which is good, but slower than I'd like. I'm not even level 9. Plus I still need about 1000 foraging EXP. It's time to buckle down and finish strong. I've got a secret weapon. Day 23. It's raining naturally today. Time for my silver bullet for combat EXP. And it's not the Skull Caverns, because today has a really convenient monster-infested floor in the regular mines. Infested floors are determined by your game seed, and unlike mushroom floors, they persist all day, respawning in a new horde of monsters for you to slay every time you enter. And today's infested floor is floor 91, which I can reset almost instantly by taking the elevator to 90 and going down the free ladder. I don't have to waste time breaking a single rock. Every second can be spent taking down monsters, and I did, earning over 3000 combat experience and slamming deep into level 9 combat. But I'm not done. We're finishing this run at a sprint. I can't go to the secret woods today, but day 24 has another infested floor. It's on 96 this time. I do need to bomb out rocks to get there from 95, but I only need 2666 experience. We can finish combat today. I wasn't sure if this was even possible since today's infested floor is way less efficient than yesterday's, but by the absolute skin of my teeth, I finished level 10 combat at 1:50 AM. Moments before passing out. 3 out of 5 skills, complete. Day 25, the final day. I'm finishing this run 3 days ahead of the run I sought to beat, which on first viewing seemed barely possible to complete within those 28 days. It might seem like it would take forever to harvest all these parsnips by hand, but the game pauses the clock while you're picking up items off the ground, so time only actually passes while I'm walking to the next set of crops. What took 15 minutes in real time only spent a few hours in game, getting me from level 0 to level 10 farming in a single morning. 4 out of 5 skills done. One more. I don't need much foraging experience. A few fertilized trees on my farm had grown up, plus I still have the secret woods, random forageables from across the map, as well as the trees over in the quarry. After a quick sweep, gathering up these last bits of foraging experience, I finally reached level 10 foraging, maxing out all 5 skills from scratch in just 25 days. This challenge was difficult to complete under the time frame I set for myself, and I'm proud of seeing it through, no matter how stuck I got trying the Skull Cavern over and over. I kept telling myself that even if I had a low chance of success, it's a 0% chance of succeeding if you just give up. I was making backup saves of every day I played, sometimes scouting ahead and testing the waters just to go back and redo several days, just to put myself further ahead than last time. But it's not just me that made this run happen. I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. It's much easier to optimize something than it is to trailblaze something new. I have nothing but pure respect for the run that inspired me to do this, and I never would have thought it possible without borrowing those ideas and strategies to iterate on. And I don't think this run is the best it could be either, so if anyone wants to buckle down and beat me at my own game, I'll be looking forward to it. Until then, cheers.